Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Carrie. I'm a 29-year-old vegan living in Bristol in the UK, and I live with my fiance who is not vegan, but he does eat vegan with me. I have been doing a series to go to all of the major UK supermarkets and see if I can make 21 vegan meals for £15. So that's £15 for all my breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 7 days. I have done a variety of stores so far, so do click on the links above and you should see that. This week I am doing Asda, which I do not have one that near me, so it's not a supermarket I usually shop at. I used to live really nearby one, so I would go there a lot more often. They have really good vegan options in Asda, to be fair. I still think probably Tesco have a bit of an upper hand on Asda, but don't sleep on Asda is my advice there. When I was in store, I was pleasantly surprised at how much there was. So I'm going to take you through everything I made, how many meals that I could make, could I make enough on the budget? Did I go over budget? And all that good stuff. So I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to another grocery haul. I went to Asda this week, and as you can see, I got loads. I found it quite hard to meal plan for Asda without doing the same meals that I've done already. So my plan was simple: go in the afternoon where hopefully there were some reduced stickers, and then build a meal plan or meals when I'm in the shop. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for day-to-day life, because if there were no reductions, then I would have been pretty stuck. But for the purposes of this, it was quite fun to then think about that. If you're in a rush or whatever, don't, but maybe a Sunday afternoon activity, actually. I find it quite fun, hence I do these videos. Let's get to it. The first thing I got was this soya yogurt, and this will be for breakfasts. This is just the Asda plant-based own brand, and this is £1 and 9p, which is the same as Aldi, I believe. Next were these onions. I got 3 onions, and these were on Asda rollback for 68 pence, which I thought was pretty good. Also on Asda rollback were these sausages, and these were £1.74. Normally you can get them around 1.75-ish when they're on offer, so that was really good. And there's 8 of them in there, and you eat 2 per portion. Okay, next is the first of my yellow sticker items. 2 courgettes here, and they were reduced down to 49p, which is such a good price for courgettes. Next was this cheese. This was £2.20 and was Asda own brand. Now they did have Violife Cheddarton, same weight, for £2, but we've had it before when it was 49p from Heron and bought it, and we just honestly really didn't like it. But that is complete personal taste, so if you do like the Violife Cheddarton, then that would save you 20p in this haul. Next, pasta shapes again, 41p, again same as everywhere else. And Asda's own brand, really cheap brand, is called Just Essentials, and it has this like yellow packaging on. I know when it was launched, some people had issues with the packaging of like, why is it so obvious that it's a budget range because it's bright yellow? But I find it really helpful when I'm in the shop. I know that that's going to be the cheapest one, so for me, I don't mind people knowing I'm buying the basic range. Next, and this was the only thing that I had in mind of like, this is a really good deal, and it's these burgers. Now they do this 8-pack of burgers in other supermarkets as well. I know that Tesco have it as well, and it's basically 8 meat-free burgers, completely vegan, and this was £2.25, which is just such a good deal. So I went in thinking, okay, what can I do with burgers other than having burgers and chips? So we'll have some interesting meals this week while I try and figure that out. But I just thought for the protein, like, that's such a good deal. I just couldn't leave that there. I have to give it a go. Next are these potatoes. Now I do apologise. Basically, we came in from shopping yesterday and I just felt iffy I'm absolutely fine this morning, but I just felt a bit tired and a bit iffy. So my fiancé made my dinner for me and he filmed it, so I'll show you. But yeah, so some of these are open because I did not have the energy to film last night. So with that being said, these white potatoes, these are 2 kilos for 135, which is, the same as anything else. And I did get a bag which had big potatoes in, because if we're making chips, and I didn't want lots of little ones. So yeah, that was the same as pretty much anywhere else, 135. Next, these leeks. This is another yellow sticker. 39p for these leeks. Very happy with that. To go with my breakfast, I got some easy peelers again. I'm sorry, but I'm just really back to reusing fruit because there's only so much, and I love to have fruit with my breakfast. That's just my jam and what I do. So these were 83p, which is such a good deal, I think. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 easy peelers in there. It's really good. Got these cherry tomatoes, which were the Just Essentials range. These weren't reduced, and these were 69p. Then got organic super firm tofu, 200 grams here for £1.10. Lettuce was on my list, and then I found it for 23p. So very happy with that. Next are these mushrooms. Now you can see that I'm going to have to cook these up fairly soon because they are looking a little bit worse for wear. But these were 38p for how many grams of mushrooms? 250 grams of mushrooms for 38p. So such a good deal. Parsnips, 28p on yellow sticker. What a treat. These rolls, and yeah, as I've said, we've already started. So 6 rolls for 48p, which is so good. And I've just realised I haven't got something out of the cupboard. Final item are these chopped tomatoes for 39p. So overall, we spent £14.98 for all of this food, which I think is such a good deal. Breakfast for the week was yogurt and easy peelers, and one day I just had yogurt, one day I just had easy peeler. And then I'm just making a salad here. So I've already washed the lettuce, both heads of the little gem, and I'm just cutting it here. I really like chopped salads, so to have it in small bite-sized pieces. And then I'm just going in and cutting the cherry tomatoes, and again I want those quite bite-sized. I don't like big chunks of it. And I pre-made one and I ate one there, so that's what I'm doing there. And then I cooked 3 burgers and had 1.5 with each portion. So I just did those in the air fryer, which worked really well. And I'm just cutting those up again into smaller pieces. You're seeing a theme here with how I like my salad, and just popping those onto the salad there as well. And then I'm just going to grate some cheese onto it. And this was a really good idea. I don't normally put cheese in my salads, and this was so yummy, like a cheeseburger salad. I know people do Big Mac salad and stuff like that. I didn't have Big Mac sauce, but same sort of vibe. So I just used this salad dressing that I had in the fridge that I need to use up, which was Caesar, and I didn't know if it would go, but it tasted so good. Okay, so I am just cutting up an onion here. I've got just half of one that I am going to dice, and I am not great at cutting onions, so I've kept this footage short. But this is me dicing the onion to the best of my ability, which granted isn't that good. And then I'm just taking some mushrooms and cutting them into slices and then dicing them to make small pieces like that. I've added the onion to the pan here, and once that's translucent, I'm then adding mushrooms and a little bit more oil. So I did put oil in at the start as well, I just didn't film that. Then I'm adding some salt here, and it wasn't coming out. I didn't just put loads in, it wasn't coming out to begin with. And then I'm adding some garlic granules and some black pepper. Then I've got a vegetable stock cube from my cupboard. think it's just an Aldi one or a Lidl one, and I'm just putting that into pieces before I add boiling water. And I let that simmer for about 15 minutes, and then I added some cubed tofu to my blender along with the soup mixture and blended that up. I did blend it twice to get it nice and smooth and to make sure all of the tofu was incorporated, and you can see it went a nice light colour there, and I ate it with a roll with just some cheese in, and this was bloody delicious. It was so good. Honestly, really recommend doing this. It was haphazard and it worked. Okay, so I am just again cutting an onion here, how often good meals start, and I'm just again going to be slicing and dicing it into bite-sized pieces. This is for a pasta dish, so I don't want it too chunky really. I want nice little pieces. And I'm just taking some mushrooms here and then cutting them into chunks. I'm not making these too small this time, as I like it a bit chunkier in my pasta dish. I'm taking courgette here and slicing it into thin pieces, and then I'm going to make them into sort of courgette batons, I would say, but very thin. I've made this meal quite a lot not on the challenge, and I really like it, but I like it this specific way with the long strips of courgette. I think it gives just a little bit more interest to the dish, particularly if you've got spaghetti. I've only got pasta today. And then I was actually making two sauces at once because I need to use the mushrooms up, so that's why I've got two here, just boiling them. And then I took some of the tofu and cut it into chunks, and this is probably about half of the block of tofu, I would say. So a good amount of it. And then I've also got our cheese that I am just cutting up here into blocks as well, and I also garnished with a little bit of cheese too. So this isn't all of the cheese I used, but I'm then just going to add the tofu and the cheese, a little bit of seasoning and some boiling water to this blender. So you can see here I've got some garlic puree. I also added salt and pepper and then the boiling water before I blended this all up. Now I did only blend this once, but I would say twice would be golden. And then here's the pasta dish. It was delicious. And this is just the prep that I did for the other pasta sauce and dish that you saw in the previous clip. So again, I'm starting with half an onion and I'm just dicing this up. And actually I was left with an onion, so I probably could have used a full onion for each of these, but I didn't want to overpower it. I'm just taking some mushrooms again, but this time I am cutting them into very small bite-sized pieces for this pasta sauce. I'm then again taking courgette and halving it, and then I just cut it into strips before I then dice it into bite-sized pieces. So these are similar but different. It's really the flavour of the sauce that is different in these pasta dishes, but I think it just goes to show that you can have the same ingredients and make two different tasting dishes, which gives you a bit more variety even though you haven't had to buy specifically different veg. And this is what I ended up with, a delicious tomato pasta dish. It was really good. Okay, so I've got some potatoes here and I am just peeling them and then cutting them into roast potato kind of size. Here they are after boiling and ready to go in the oven to roast. And then similarly, I am going to take these parsnips and I'm going to peel them before I chop them up into decent sized pieces, I would say as well, because these are also going to go into the oven to roast. Just put them in the dish here and adding some olive oil before I add seasoning. So here is some black pepper, and then I take some garlic and give that a good go. And then I've also got some mixed herbs here, just an Italian blend and some salt. And I've taken the leeks and I fried them before putting them in the oven with this sauce that I'm making. So I have got some tofu that I've crumbled in there, and I added some cheese as well before adding some water, and gave this a really good blend, and this made the cheesy sauce for the leeks. And I also air fried the sausages as our meat, and this is what it ended up as. Really tasty, delicious roast. For this next meal, again, I am just peeling some potatoes here, and I did actually use the rest of the bag of potatoes after the roast dinner, and I am chopping it up into fairly thick pieces to then make chips. I parboiled these for 10 minutes before putting them in the oven, and this is what it looked like with the burger. Absolutely yummy, simple, delicious. So that is everything I made this week and ate. I have to say, it's been the most successful week, using those reduced stickers and looking out for them, and then just building a meal plan off the cuff in the store to be able to make the most of those reductions. Honestly, changed the game. I had 2 extra choices of meals this week compared to previous videos. So 3 lunch choices, 3 dinner choices. So we did get a little bit more variety in, which was amazing. So this just goes to show you can go in with the best will in the world and a meal plan, but if you see those reductions, best believe I am going to be throwing my meal plan in the bin and working it around there. The burger pasta was interesting, I would say. We did try and think of, my fiance helped me try and think of ways to eat those burgers that wasn't just in a bun. I loved the burger salad. I thought that was so good. The cheeseburger salad was delicious. I obviously did use a salad dressing that I had in the fridge, which if you've watched previous videos, you know I'm trying to use that up because it's technically out of date, but it tastes fine. And that one is actually from Asda. So I thought it fit quite nicely in the video. It's so good. It's the Omvi brand, the vegan Caesar dressing that you can find in the free from aisle. And it's delicious. I'd really recommend it. But if you didn't have that in, you could use mayo, you could use oil, like you don't have to have a dressing. So I know that that was technically a bit cheeky of me, but I'm using ketchup if I've got chips or stuff like that. So I thought it was of a similar vein. I don't know. Hopefully you agree. In terms of the highlights of the meals this week, we've got to talk about the roast dinner. Roast dinner, I mean, I use it loosely because we used sausages, didn't we? And not like a joint of fake meat. But that was so good and real variety on the plate. The tofu was an inspired purchase because I could make sauces and all sorts from the tofu, and it just added that element of protein to things, and actually more protein than if I'd bought vegan cream, and it was cheaper than vegan cream as well. So the only thing that I would say is blend more than once. When I made the cheesy leeks, I only blended the tofu once and it was like a little bit grainy, that sauce, whereas for everything else, I blended it twice and that completely got rid of the graininess. I suppose it depends on your blender as well and the power of it, but for me, that was the best thing that I could have done, and it made it so smooth and creamy. Mushroom soup was delicious, by the way. I don't know what, like the balance of seasonings I must have got just right because it was so good. So I am so happy with everything I've made this week. I will say, obviously, I did have to make things pretty quickly and in advance because those mushrooms were ready to turn, so I couldn't leave them in the fridge too long. And that is the thing with reductions, is that they're ready to eat then and they might go bad quicker, so you've just got to have the time to be able to prepare that so that you don't waste any food. But if you are prepared and if you know that you've got a big family and you're going to use that food quickly, then I think it's a wonderful option for everyone shopping to look at those reductions first, because we had so much veg this week. So I would rate this probably top of the pile for meals. I think this is beating how much I enjoyed Aldi. This is everything this week. Let me know if you've had any good reductions lately, because I am obsessed. I love it. And I will put stuff in my freezer quite often if I know that I'm not going to have the time, but there's a good reduction. There were so many other things in Asda, by the way, that we could have got, and we did buy some of it, just not for the challenge, because it's like we can't leave that there, like a cabbage for 20p. Like, that is coming home with me 100%. And then if I'm, preparing it and freezing it in freezer bags or whatever, I'm happy to spend that extra time to save that money. So it all depends on your mindset as well, because obviously we do exchange time for money sometimes and we pay more to get time back. It really depends what kind of season of your life you're in, if you've got the time or if you're willing to make the time. So that's my takeaway this week. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't think I'm going to do another one for a while now, just because we've got quite a lot in and we will be going on holiday in a couple of weeks as well. So we don't want to keep adding. So stay tuned to see what video I do next week. And if you do have any suggestions of other shops to do for when I do revisit this series, I know that I haven't done Waitrose or Marks and Spencer's or anything like that. Bit concerned if those are possible or not, but I am happy to visit them. So if you do have any suggestions for me, any requests, please put them in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like, please subscribe, and tell your friends. And finally, a big thank you. I hit a massive milestone this week where I hit 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing. So thank you so much, each and every one of you, for all your support and engagement in these videos. I'm absolutely loving getting to know you all in the comments and feeling like we have this lovely frugal vegan community. Bye.